Okay. So I'm so glad you could be here. As I was telling Darcy, there are a number of moms that wanted to be here and had a surfing competition and a soccer game and a last minute work obligation, and all these things just came up. So that's why I want to just make sure, because we all need support. This parenting thing is so hard, so triggering, and it doesn't have to be. So that's my message of hope, that I've learned skills and practices that I want to share, because it was miserable in the beginning for me because I used to get so triggered, particularly by my oldest daughter,
Hi.
who was super strong-willed.
Right,
And so I learned nonviolent communication and Brene Brown principally, but 15 years later, I know a lot. And one of the most important practices is life-saving listening, because we can't pretend through this journey and hope to connect. We need to be raw and real. But I think our impression of raw and real is that we're going to explode or be a volcano or be ourselves, part of the problem. And so there's the two things of honesty, of yes, be raw and real, experience our own emotions, so that they tell us about our unmet needs, and then don't direct them at anyone, direct them at the ground and the sky. So those are two really key and things to sort of unlearn. Brene Brown says we need to let go of all of our old practices that aren't very skillful, of maybe blaming or controlling, caring about what other people think, and cultivate things that are more skillful. And that's how we have the connective relationship we really want with our kids. So, and these old behaviors get in the way because they are the safety strategies we learned really young through our own parenting or our own being parented. And it's what we saw, but it was our parents really not knowing these skills either. And so they often told us to not feel and to just behave, and had a controlling sort of power over. And so that didn't validate us. It didn't let us feel the fear or the shame or the embarrassment, and know that that had a message for us about our needs, so that we could experience it, release it, get the information from it, and then go on. That's the goal. Instead of resisting, stuffing, numbing, rationalizing, all the old patterns that we do. So this is the chance with the life-saving listening, and why it matters is because if we don't have a chance to kind of offload our own fear and frustration, then we usually do inadvertently direct it at our child. And we don't even mean to, or we direct it at ourselves. I was doing my own life-saving listening session. I will say this is the most transformative practice. I've been doing it for 15 years. Nothing more has made my life a better place, my skin a more comfortable, kind place. And the realization I had yesterday is I have lived so much of my life under a shame pressure, and trying to keep me in, as Glennon Doyle says, sort of the straitjacket of being good, being perfect, being appropriate, being right. And this is not the goal. The goal I found is to be authentic. I am unique and I have gifts, but when I play small, then they don't get to come out. And so how can I unlearn some of these old patterns and cultivate some of these new patterns in myself? So that's what we're practicing today. And that's why it matters, because I am so much less reactive than I was when I started this journey with my daughter. She's 21 now, so it was a long time ago. And I can honestly say our relationship is amazing. And we had some awful, drag out, yucky interactions because she was so strong-willed. And I didn't understand that that strong will was protecting her vulnerable heart. I just thought she was misbehaving, or I thought she was doing it to me. She was just trying to irritate me. She was trying to get under my skin. And what I learned is she wasn't doing anything to me. She was meeting her needs. So it's how to sort of slow it down and pull it apart so that we don't keep misunderstanding each other. And when we're triggered, that's hard. So I have this gesture of support of, it's okay, this is hard, It's be where I am first. That's the first step, is just be where you are, instead of pretending, no, everything's fine. Oh, we're great. Yeah, no, this is fine. And underneath, you're boiling. So that's the thing. So the way this works is that this is a safe zone of being able to express that whatever is real, whatever is, I hate my child right now, whatever is honest. My child said they hate me and I'm crushed. It's a time, not even maybe today, but it's a time to practice being able to be vulnerable and real. So that's the gift of these life-saving listening sessions. And to have someone who knows not to try and make you feel better, to not try to talk you out of your emotions, to not tell a relating story. Oh, that happened to me, blah, 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 blah. And it's also not to, oh, you should have tried this. It's not try to fix. And those are all those old patterns that we do out of the goodness of our heart. We learned them. They just kind of come up. So I used to call this empty container listening. And the idea was just be an empty container, a warm presence to let that other individual just be in. And you just are there to validate and hear them and see them and accept them. So it's an exchange. That's why it's such a gift, because it's not like a therapist relationship, and it's really special. And I learn as much from listening as I do from speaking. So they're both gifts, and it helps me know I'm not alone and I'm not crazy. And everybody has this crazy chatter going on in their head. And so when we give it a chance to be named and spoken, it loses its power. You've probably heard Brené Brown say things like that. She's one of my biggest fan, and I think any group that we do this is she so believes in it. So let me just talk a little bit about how this is going to go, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. And I think we're going to do a 3 breakout room so that you can each hear each other. And what the feedback that I got last time was that it wasn't quite enough. And so I think there'll be some time for kind of getting to know you, and then some time for having each person sort of on a timed, uninterrupted, be able to speak. And for me, it takes time in the beginning. It took time to be able to get to that deep part that I really wanted to share. So because we have all these defenses sort of built up to be appropriate and good and together, it's hard to pull those down. Okay, go. So we're going to do a little get to know you time. How does that sound? So the only instructions are, when you're listening, just try not to be thinking of other things. Just be there and being attentive and warm presence. It's a warm witness. And there's no way to do it wrong. There's no way you're supposed to be supporting. And at the end, there's a time to reflect if you choose. With the most important things you heard, or sort of the biggest, if you saw them really emoting, any feelings you maybe have jotted down. Oh, she looked really sad. And if you have the needs list, which I have here, which I don't even know, Darcy, if you got, but there's this great list that I love printing out, and because I can't always think of it in the moment. So, and this is a new language for me. It was because I had spent so much time just sort of repressing my feelings. I didn't know what they all were, and I didn't know about needs values. So when I could bring this into my life, it made it so much more of a rich experience. And then I could talk and ask my kids about them. And the way it is safe is that there's a time for speaking that's not interrupted. And then there's equally sharing the time. I don't know if you've experienced this, but in our culture, there are overtalkers and undertalkers. And I, as an undertalker, feel like some people just kind of take over a conversation. That's just comfortable for them. It's not bad. It's just, that's where their comfort zone is. So anyway, just gives it brings safety to me that we're sharing the time, and I know I'll have my time to speak. So any questions before we go on to the next?
Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Good to see
Where
you.
is the needs list? I know I've seen it. I want to print it now from like off my phone. Where can I
Okay.
pull it up?
So it is on an email that I sent. Let me think if I can even send it to you.
I know I've seen it in the past few days, so I'm like, where did I see it?
Yeah. It's on the bottom of the emails before this LifeSaving Listening.
Okay.
And it's one of those ones that you can just kind of download and have a PDF up.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Yeah. And you know what? If you don't have that, you're going to be fabulous at this. So
Okay.
if you just want to take that off your plate and just go, it's okay. I have enough innerness that it's all going to work out. So I know I felt the same way, because I was like, where's that piece of paper that I used last time to kind of guide myself? And I couldn't find it. And I was getting so hot and stressed. So I know that feeling. It's like, I'm not doing it right. Just give yourself a big hug. We're all good.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions? So the way I'd like to start this is we're going to give everybody again time to first just kind of talk about their family, why they're here, what what they like to do in their spare time, where they live, and just sort of this, a minute of just who I am and what do I, not just as a parent, but just who I am as kind of a whole person, as much as whatever you want to say. And then switch, and we'll go kind of give the little timing in the thing saying, okay, next person. And then after, I think we're going to have 5 to 6 minutes each of just what's on your heart this morning. Can be about anything. I can give you prompts of, when were you triggered last? We have so much material as parents. It's just a gift, right? They just keep giving us more material of being triggered. And it could be with a spouse too. It could be with a coworker. It could be with your mother-in-law. It doesn't have to be a child. Or it could be just about, bedtime in our family is like this. There's no wrong way to do this. One is, what was the hardest emotion for me to feel as a child? And just explore that. Why was that hard? What were the messages I got from my parents? So that's another one you can work on. Again, there's no way to do this wrong. And often, now that I've been doing it for a long time, I don't know what I'm going to say. And there's no reason that you don't have to. Again, just notice if that voice is, I'm not doing this right. I need to do this right. Everyone's going to think I'm a dum-dum, just, that voice is trying to keep me safe. It's okay. And even just name it. That the more you can just get it out on the table, that helps me anyway. Go, everybody has these voices. It's okay. Okay, so I'd say let's just get into it. And with 3 people, we're just going to share the time again equally, and there'll be first person, second person, third person. And I forgot the quieting. Wait, we got to do this. Okay. I feel like I'm talking fast. I really care about this material. So everybody just take some longer, deeper breaths, stretch, feel all those muscles. We lock emotion and triggers in our bodies. We stuff them. And so just notice if there's any place in you that is tight, and just give it a little extra oxygen. For me, it's usually in my shoulders. Recently, it's been in my jaw. Just give yourself a little rub or a hi, jaw. And often my stomach talks to me too. So just give extra oxygen to your stomach. Notice if you're hot or if you're cold. Notice what your heart is doing. Just check in right now. We so often focus outward and what we're supposed to do. This time is a gift to us to focus inward. That it is perfectly wonderful to just touch inside. There's no way we're supposed to be. We just are. Give yourself another couple of stretch or breaths. Welcome your whole self here, as much as you know that amazing woman. Okay. Another good one is, if you ever want to try this, is just to shake and bounce. And it helps they call it the fascia. It helps get all the stress out of your like tendons. So yeah, if you want to stand up or not, and you just shake up and down. I think this is why I like running so much, because it shakes out my stress. So that's another one you can try. Okay. So I'm going to send you into a breakout room, and I'm going to put the timing thing. And how about, gosh, I can't say who's coming from the farthest away because you need a center point. Who is the farthest from Santa Cruz, California? How about they go first? I think we have Santa Cruz, Rachel, that might be you. No, the farthest, Darcy, because you're in Colorado. So, then just again, this sort of minute and a half of get to know you. Who am I? What do I like? If there's ever a silence, that's beautiful. Don't feel, I mean, if you feel awkward, just say, hey, I'm feeling awkward. It's a chance to practice that there's no way this is supposed to be. There's no script. There's no, again, supposed to's and should is, I was going to bring my flashlight, but that's where we want to get the light on so we can shine the light on them and just go, oh, I'm feeling that supposed to, I'm feeling that should. There is no should. It's okay. Just me. Okay. And so then we'll get to know you all three. And then we'll go to the sharing time with listening and reflection. And then we'll switch. Sound good? And if you're nervous, I used to get really nervous. So that's so normal. And if you're excited, that's okay too. Okay, so let me go to here. Then we'll go there. Then we'll go. So have fun.